Hi Capricorn, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of April 2022. We begin the month in Aries season, and the sun is transiting in the cardinal fire sign of Aries. The sun is exalted there, very strong and potent and action-oriented, and it's transiting in your house of home, family, and emotional foundation. A lot of emphasis on your family life. Mercury, which is the planet of communication, thoughts, and ideas, is also transiting in the sign of Aries, as well as Chiron, the wounded healer. And a lot of focus on healing within, healing family, and doing work at home. And there is a stellium of planets transiting in the fixed air sign of Aquarius in your house of money, income, and what you value. We are in the new age of Aquarius and have been since the end of December 2020, when you handed over the keys to the sign of Aquarius to lead us through this very momentous and sad time in the world. And therefore, a lot of focus in how you earn money and your value system. Vesta, which is an asteroid that represents hearth and home. Juno, which is an asteroid that represents partnering. Venus, the planet of love and money. Mars, the planet of action and passion. And Saturn, the ruler of your sign, the planet of karma and accountability, are all transiting in your house of money and income. So really focusing on your finances and on your values and on your resources. And there is also a very strong Piscean theme, Neptunian theme, because Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, that's going to dominate the month as we get further in. By the 20th, there'll be 5 points transiting in the mutable water sign of Pisces, which is very different energy. Instead of being intellectual and cerebral, it's very emotional, intuitive, and sensitive. And we're building up to a very historical pairing. Jupiter, which is the grand benefic and the ancient ruler of Pisces, is meeting up with Neptune, which is the modern ruler of Pisces, the planet of dreams and spirituality. And they are pairing up now, but they become exact between April 9th and April 12th, and they peak on April 12th at 23 degrees and 59 minutes of Pisces. This is a very manifesting and magical and magnetizing energy. It's very romantic and loving and healing, but it also can expand the more challenging aspects of Pisces, whether it's hysteria or delusion or fear. So obviously you want to work with the manifesting, the creative, and the magnetic part of it. So we begin the month, and there is a new moon that takes place on March 31st at 11:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on April 1st at 2:24 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 11 degrees and 30 minutes of the cardinal fire sign of Aries. And the new moon is always a time to set intentions and to plant these seeds. The sun is very strong and exalted in Aries. It loves being there. It's on the planet Mercury, a lot of ideas and communication. And again, it's paired with Chiron, the wounded healer. A lot of healing accessible to us in this new moon, this new moon energy. So do the law of abundance to magnetize new opportunities. Again, it's occurring in your house of home and how you get your needs met. So a lot of focus, whether you have a home business, whether you're doing things at home, renovation or repair, or dealing with family and bringing healing energy, which we all need right now. And later that day, the sun meets up with Chiron, the wounded healer, at 10:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that brings levity and light to healing, the healing process. And then on the following day, on April 2nd, Mercury meets up with Chiron at 9:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A lot of emphasis on your thoughts and positive thinking. And then, Mercury meets up with the sun at 7:11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Again, more focus on positive thinking, and I think this is a very potent new moon. And then on April 3rd, the moon is transiting in the fixed Earth sign of Taurus, and it meets up with the planet Uranus, which is the planet of surprise and the unexpected, at 1:47 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that could bring unexpected twists and turns. It's in your house of romance and creativity. It could bring unexpected fun, but it could bring, maybe some friction. Whatever you think it is, it'll be something else. But it's a day where plans could get changed. There could be some unpredictability. On April 5th, Venus changes signs and enters the mutable water sign of Pisces. And it's transiting in your house of thoughts and ideas and thinking. And that's where this lovely Jupiter-Neptune pairing is occurring for you. The Pisces energy is in your planet, in your house rather, of thinking and ideas. So really, again, about manifesting through the imagination. Venus is exalted in Pisces, very romantic and loving and nurturing in this placement and bringing beauty to your thinking. And on April 7th, Mercury, which is the planet of communication, forms a helpful aspect to Saturn, and that occurs at 8:37 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring helpful communication with financial situations with family, or with real estate, good, solid communication. On April 8th, Jupiter, which is the luckiest planet, makes a facilitating aspect to the North Node of Destiny. And for you, this could bring very positive energy with romance, with creativity, with writing, and it's just a really nice aspect. Pay attention to whom you meet and to what comes up at that time. On April 9th, Jupiter and Neptune are starting to get really close in the sky. And this is, again, a very magical energy in your house of thoughts and ideas, really focusing on up-leveling and suspending disbelief to really bring in positive new beginnings in your life. And on the 9th, the moon is transiting in Cancer in your house of partnerships, and it makes good aspects to both Jupiter and Neptune. Very romantic, spiritual, and lovely energy. On April 10th, Mercury squares Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, at 4:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. For you, Pluto is transiting in your sign. It is the cosmic compost that eliminates that which we no longer need. And it could bring arguments conceivably, but I feel it's more about eliminating toxic thoughts and habits in order to magnetize what you're trying to manifest in your thinking and in your meditation. So really eliminating toxicity. And Mercury changes signs later that day at 10:09 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time and enters the fixed Earth sign of Taurus, transiting in your house of romance and creativity and self-expression, and it will be there until April 29th. So really good for your creative and romantic life, and hopefully having a little fun in this very difficult time. On April 12th, Jupiter and Neptune meet up exactly at 10:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 23 degrees and 59 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. Really manifesting energy. Good day to journal your intentions, to go to the ocean if you're able, or take a salt bath, or do something, go by water if you're able, cleanse your crystals. Really try to channel that hippie mode and get out there and really, just get into it if you can. I will be. I need it. So on April 14th, Mars, which is the planet of action, enters the mutable water sign of Pisces at 11:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, transiting in your house of communication, networking, and local community. and it will be there until May 24th. So if you're trying to pitch ideas, if you're trying to look for a job, if you're promoting your business, if you're trying to get involved in the local community, a lot of emphasis not only in your thinking and communication, but also taking action, getting interviews, taking classes, teaching classes, going to workshops, getting involved, and so Mars is not in the most ideal placement in Pisces, but it's a lot of focus on learning for you this month. And then on April 16th, there is a full moon that takes place at 2:55 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 26 degrees and 46 minutes of the cardinal air sign of Libra. And this occurs in your house of career and life goals. It could bring manifestation and culmination to projects you've been working on at work. But this full moon is going to be pretty intense because it's squaring Pluto in your sign. So there could be potential endings with clients or with work situations. Could be pretty intense, or people could be combative with that energy. Again, eliminating what is blocking you from your goals and knowing that that could be a bit intense. But on the following day, on April 17th, there's some nice aspects. Bear in mind that Saturn is squaring the nodes of fate this month, so there could be very fated decisions. We're going to be dealing with an eclipse at the end of the month and Pluto retrograding in your sign. So there's a lot of intensity as well as a lot of manifesting and dreams, but it's not all kumbaya by any means. So on April 17th, Mercury and Venus are in harmony and they form a good aspect, and this is a helpful aspect for creativity and partnering with others professionally and socially, and that occurs at 9:09 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Later that day, Mercury meets up with Uranus, the planet of the unexpected, at 9:51 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on April 18th at 12:51 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring unexpected twisted turns. With Uranus cycles, expect the unexpected. That occurs in your house of romance. Maybe you get unexpected invitations or meetings. Maybe there's some friction, But on the 18th, Venus and Uranus form a very harmonious aspect at 3:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's very creative and romantic and innovative. Later that day, more intensity and drama. The Sun squares Pluto at 11:14 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring power struggles with relatives or with people you care about. I'd lay low that day if you're able. Not April, able. And then on April 20th, the Sun changes signs and enters the fixed Earth sign of Taurus at 10:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will tour through May 20th in your house of romance and creativity and love affairs. If you're single, the Sun is bringing light to this area of your life, and that's a nice energy. The eclipse later in the month will be in this sector of your chart as well. On April 24th, the day begins with challenges. Mercury squares Saturn at 9:50 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring issues with investments or financial situations. Later in the day, Mercury forms a helpful aspect to Neptune at 6:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring creative thinking and solutions to problems that develop that day potentially. And then on April 26th, Mercury and Jupiter form a very harmonious aspect, and that is good for networking and for romance and creativity, and that occurs at 10:11 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on the following day at 1:11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's a nice energy. And then on April 28th, Mercury forms a very good aspect to Pluto, the planet of transformation, at 8:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that is empowering thinking. Now, the end of the month is going to be highly intense because on April 29th, Pluto stations retrograde in your sign, in your house of self and immediate environment. And this occurs at 2:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You feel that 5 days before and 5 days after. And that can bring major endings, major beginnings, major life changes. Add to the fact that there is a partial solar eclipse on April 30th that occurs at 4:28 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 10 degrees and 28 minutes of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus. And it's like a new moon on steroids. Usually there are new beginnings with new moons, but in my study of eclipses, I have seen major endings on solar eclipses and major beginnings on lunar eclipses, which are like full moons on steroids. Eclipses wake us up and shake us up. They can bring change in an instance, and you can get news that changes your life forever. You can get major opportunities, major fated meetings, also major endings and exits. Sometimes things have been building up and the eclipse just eclipses somebody or something out of our lives. And this eclipse is conjunct Uranus, the planet of chaos and the unexpected, and also the great awakener of the zodiac. And this occurs in your house of romance and love affairs and creativity. It could be a very creative energy because the moon is exalted in Taurus and it is ruled by Venus, very Venusian energy. But Taurus is a sign that likes stability, and that ain't gonna happen because it's conjunct Uranus. So we know a lot of unpredictability, a lot of insights hopefully, but work with the Jupiter-Neptune magic that is so accessible all month. And also Juno, which is an asteroid that represents partnering, changes signs and enters Pisces on 4/20. Go figure. And it's going to be transiting in Pisces until January 12th of next year. And that's about partnering with the imagination and creativity and spirituality. And I wish you a lot of luck. Big month for all of us, and take care.